Welcome. These will be my thoughts on The Ninth Jedi, Season 1, Episode 5, The Storm of Violence. The episode, the episode, I believe, is for ages 12 and up. Certainly this video will be. There will be spoilers for this episode and the ones leading up to it, including the backdoor pilot in the original Star Wars Visions, and another episode I love that makes all of them so far. And I guess I should briefly say I have not watched past this episode yet. I'm aware more have aired. And yeah, let's dive right in. So yeah, we have a very Star Wars-esque episode. Star Wars Skywalker Saga-esque opening. We don't see the text scrolling on screen, but instead we have the illustrations and such. But yeah, and it definitely gave me right. I think I will spoil at least some of Star Wars in general, leading up to and including when this first aired. But yeah, definitely got vibes of Empire Strikes Back, including we even have the thing with communication. Yeah, they're looking for the rebels who are on the run, kind of thing. And let's see. Yeah, I think. Is that when we see the yeah, so the last Sith is going over in his head the loss to the to Jima, and yeah, they're doing the the Darth Vader thing. He's more a machine now than man, twisted and evil. And let's see I think the next thing was the yeah, so we see the some of the some of them meeting with each other talking about, and there's someone points out we're not going to be able to run forever. At some point we're going to have to take a rest, maybe some power raid. And yeah, like they are doing a really great job of varying these episodes, and having the characters in different situations. Like this, I would say, is the most hopeless things have felt in the show so far. And yeah, we find that they did not find Kara, which, considering how close I would say was Ethan was, that's really messed up. But makes for a more compelling story. And I think it's very tragic that he came so close and then failed. And I think that's when we see her. And yeah, I really appreciated she is not quite the same. She is less like it's not that she never talks, but she is somewhat less chatty and more reserved. And they get us to really care about, I think, was the name Isha, or was that, yeah, I think the young alien's name was Isha. And Isha gives all the food to Kara, and then Kara, great with kids, evidently. She does that classic thing like, I guess I'll eat this whole thing all on my own. And of course Isha wants at least some. And yeah, the thing with, don't touch that. That's my lightsaber. I could give you one, but you'd have to defend the galaxy. I failed. She thinks that it's her fault that Juro is dead, so no wonder that she is somewhat more hardened now. And yeah, really powerful when she is she gets out her lightsaber and she is like wielding it, in the dark, and upset, feeling like yeah, it's yeah, I really hope that she's able to recover from this. They put her through the ringer. I was about to say in this episode, but really recently in general. And oh yeah, also great with Nawam. He's like holding the hollow disc while fighting off the enemies, and the bit where the big machine is supposed to step on him, and then he leaps out, and you know yeah, he must have leapt up before it stepped, and then he lands powerfully. Yeah, very, very cool. And I think that is when, yeah, so ultimately it is at least partially because he's frustrated that he thinks they were lied to by an informant. But when one of the people working for Nawam starts their line by saying, "So there's no advanced life forms on this planet," that definitely sounded like, more of, yeah. So I'm still very fond of, I'm not saying all Star Wars media has to, but when they comment on fascism, because there is this thing, I'm not saying it's only fascists who do it, but it is a major tenet of fascism that if someone is deemed less intelligent or less powerful, that they are like, well, in this case, they're aliens, not human beings, but, like subhuman or something, just absolutely disgusting, dehumanizing others to make yourself feel better rather than lifting other people up, because that can also make you feel better, and that is a more sustained, that there is there it's been studied. The things that lead to consistent happiness is feeling and let's see, receiving and giving love, having community, being satisfied with your conditions, which doesn't mean like settling for something that's insufficient, but appreciating if what you have is sufficient, even if it wasn't necessarily what you dreamt that it would be, but your needs are met, kind of thing. If you always think that the grass is greener, then you're never going to be completely satisfied or thus happy. Now, but yeah, so they attack the planet, noting that it would be smart of Kara to be hiding on it, and they don't care about all the people they kill, which once again, one of the, yeah, tenets of fascism, especially if it's people they think are inferior. And so the yeah, oh, I was amazing, very powerful visual when Kara is, looking through binoculars, and we see like the fire, and then we see the ship responsible for it. And so she manages to save some of the alien beings, and then she gets on the ship and starts just chopping them down. Incredible action, very aggressive, like unusual for her, so we could really see she's changed from, you know, the experience and time passing between, last episode. And the yeah, it was so cool when we actually got like a POV. I don't think I remember seeing that before in like outside, some of the games can allow that, but POV as someone is using a lightsaber. I mean, and let's see, I think that pretty much, and she does tell them, lay down, or what, I think she said not lay down your arms, but leave this ship, and then she afterwards goes to join the aliens, and then we see that her lightsaber has now turned red. She is giving in to her anger and in denial about it, and that is, yeah, because that's always been one of the things with Star Wars, this thing of like, how do you defeat evil who are using, if they are using violence and you're trying not to use very much violence, and yeah, I'm really excited to see how that's gonna play out here. I still think they're doing a good job of it. They're just balancing it of like there's a bunch of references to, I'd say especially the original trilogy is what it's drawing a lot from, but there's enough like remixing, reinterpreting going on that it doesn't feel like a retread. And I suppose that pretty much covers. Let me just real quick think. Oh, it was awesome when So yeah, another with yeah. The some more commenting on fascism was the bit where there's the thing about the if you're aware of the of our enemies being somewhere nearby and you do not tell us, not only will we punish you but also your family. And then we see the one with the knife, and then suddenly the knife like is thrown at the wall next to, yeah, that was really cool. And a great bit of I guess cat and mouse is an appropriate way to describe it. And I think that is just about everything. Yeah, very excited to see more. I think there's 3 episodes left of the season. And yeah, good time for, I suppose I don't know if this is the lowest end, but lower than before at least. And yeah, they talk about also in this episode that the Kuiper cannon will be fixed. That it's just a matter of time. And I think that is about, yeah. I will say, with when Noam was fighting those so the following's not really criticism. It's, it goes to character. But yeah, when Noam is fighting the ones he's fighting, and like he's only like basically paying half attention to it because he's on the holo call at the same time. Like, dude, your predecessors showed them much more respect.